Based off of Kurt Vonnegut's I Am Very Real and Francine Prose's When Librarians Are Silenced connected theme of censorship of literature, I decided to further research the impact of censorship and regulation in the field of education. For my research question, I asked, to what extent do Common Core state standards impact the college readiness of high school students? And based off of the research I conducted, I determined that while the foundation set by Common Core state standards is promising, the execution of said standards is lackluster, thus making the impact on college readiness ineffective. There are two primary causes to this issue. The first problem the standards face criticism over is the vague rhetoric used within the standards. This proves the problem as it makes it far more difficult for educators to adequately incorporate the standards into their curriculum. Stan Karp, a New Jersey Education Board member with over 30 years of education experience, expands on this criticism in his article, The Problems with Common Core, stating that a central problem with the Common Core is the complete absence of any similar credible plan to provide or even to determine the resources necessary to make every student college and career ready as defined by the Common Core state standards. An implication of this difficult incorporation into the curriculum is that the quality of the education that students receive is greatly diminished. As evidenced by the graph to the left from Brookings Institute in the dark blue and the medium blue, the number of teachers who oppose the standards has steadily increased since the Common Core was put into place. These numbers speak for themselves because if the ones teaching the standards oppose them, then there is a high likelihood that the standards contain flaws in their execution. Another reason for the Common Core state standards criticism is due to the fact that the standards' impact on the education of students has appeared to have a negative connotation. Alan Singer, a social studies educator and historian in the Department of Teaching and Learning Technology at Hofstra University, writes in a Huffington Post article that on the National Assessment of Education Progress test, the average performance of high school seniors dropped in math and failed to improve in reading from 2013 to 2015. This find has severe implications as it shows that since the standards were first introduced, the impact they had on the education of high school students has been negative, thus leaving them less prepared for education at the next level. There are limitations of this perspective though, since the information only looks at the NAEP test scores, which only tests a representative sample size of senior students and not the entire student body. Based off of these criticisms, one of the most popular solutions presented to solving the Common Core problem presented by President-elect Donald Trump has been to completely abandon the standards and create new ones. As Neil McCluskey, one of the directors of education research at Cato Institute, states, there are limitations to this solution. McCluskey states that unless Trump tries to coerce states to dump the core, make receipt of funds or regulatory relief dependent on ditching it, he can't end the core. Instead of trying to completely abandon the Common Core state standards, I would attempt to build off of the foundation put in place, but modify the standards so as to be more direct and easy to interpret. This would get rid of the confusion surrounding the implementation of the standards and also allow the billions of dollars spent on the creation of new testing curriculum for the standards to remain intact. Hopefully, by taking these steps, the college readiness of students would be supported and greatly improved.